Town Hall 13 in Clash of Clans is frequently leveled as the most disliked, frustrating town hall in the game. When it was first launched in December of 2019, the community response was largely positive. People were excited by the introduction of Royal Champions, a brand new hero that added a fresh depth as well as scatter shots, one of the most powerful defenses that has significantly changed the base building and attack planning. At release, Town Hall 13 felt like a meaningful evolution of the game rather than a simple extension of Town Hall 12, unlike Town Hall 12, which felt like the simple extension of Town Hall 11. However, as the time passed and players spent longer at this town hall, the enthusiasm slowly turned into frustration. What initially felt like an ambitious and content rich began to feel bloated and exhausting, largely due to the sheer amount of grinding required to reach the max level. One of the biggest complaints about Town Hall 13 is the enormous amount of hero upgrades. At this level, players are required with a total of 55 hero levels spread across 4 heroes: the Barbarian Kings, the Grand Warden, Archer Queens, and the newly introduced Royal Champions. This is one of the largest hero upgrade jumps in the game's progression. The problem isn't just that the number of upgrades, it's the resource demand, especially the Dark Elixir. The heroes alone require 5 million Dark Elixir, not including pets or troops, because heroes have essentially had become so important in farming and war that upgrading them often means playing without any key defenses or key attackers for a week at a time. This creates a frustrating loop where the progression feels slow and unrewarding, especially for players who want to remain competitive in clan wars. As a result, many players feel stuck at Town Hall 13, constantly upgrading heroes while seeing a very little visible updates and progress in their villages. In addition to heroes, Town Hall 13 also introduces huge number of building upgrades, many of which require 2-level upgrade levels instead of 1. The core defenses like cannons, archer towers, wizard towers, and all X-bows all demands a significant time investments, and the cumulative effects are overwhelming. What makes this especially painful is the imbalance in upgrade pacing. Compared to other town halls, the ratio of building upgrades versus the true spells and hero progressions feels far more worse. Even with all the builders are active, players can still feel like they're barely making any progress in the upgrade list. This ultimately created a sense of monotony where every login feels like the same. Collect the resources, start another long upgrade, and wait. Rather than feeling rewarding while upgrading, the building grind at Town Hall 13 often feels like endless checklist with no clear finish line. As a result, the pacing and position of the game sit in a very awkward position in the overall progression of Town Hall 13. Up until Town Hall 11 and early 12, progression feels relatively satisfying and fast. Players unlock major updates, major mechanics, new heroes, and impactful updates at a steady pace. At Town Hall 13, that pacing changes dramatically. Progress slows down to a crawl, with upgrades taking weeks and full completion requiring several months of consistent play. The shift is definitely jarring, going for Town Hall 11 to 12 and then 12 to 13. These two Town Halls 12 and 13 feels like it is very grind heavy for many players. Instead of feeling like a natural step forward, the Town Hall feels like a wall that player must painfully push through. For casual or any semi-competitive players, this pacing often leads to burnout or long break from the game. The newer content also feels very underwhelming compared to the later Town Halls. Another reason Town Hall 13 is often disliked due to its unfortunate timing. It was released just before some of the most exciting additions in Clash of Clans history. Town Hall 14 basically introduced hero pets, which dramatically changed the hero synergy and strategy, while Town Hall 15 has brought about new endgame defenses and mechanics that truly felt fresh. In comparison, Town Hall 13 feels like a slightly upgraded version of Town Hall 12, which also feels like a slightly upgraded version of Town Hall 11. It feels like the overall grind that requires for heroes are hugely disproportionate for the new buildings and mechanics in the game. Most of the game in Town Hall 12 and 13, you often spend 70 to 80% of the time just upgrading your heroes while not doing anything other than that. Aside from Royal Champion and scatter shots, much of the gameplay feels familiar rather than revolutionary. Knowing that more exciting content lies just one Town Hall away makes the long grind of Town Hall 13 feels even worse, as the players are stuck in a less exciting phase while waiting for a better mechanics. One of the greater silver lining is, despite all these criticisms, Town Hall 13 is not without its strength. The Royal Champion adds a new layer of offensive strategy and become one of the most impactful heroes in the game. The scatter shot had significantly improved the defensive diversity and forces attackers to adapt their strategies. Town Hall 13 also allows the player to fully explore the advanced army compositions and hero combinations. And since the hero upgrades have taken a much higher focus in this Town Hall, the heroes themselves had become much more valuable, and learning the later stage of the game in attacks. Additionally, Supercell knows this and taken has significant steps in addressing some of the frustrations by reducing the upgrade cost and the times of the upgrade, both the heroes and the buildings, and improving the in-game economy. These changes have made Town Hall 13 more manageable than it was at launch, though the core issue still remains, which is the extensive building upgrades and the long hero grind. So overall, Town Hall 13's reputation as one of the most hated Town Halls comes down to burnout rather than bad design. Generally, it offers some solid content and strategic depth, but the overwhelming slow pacing and grind and the unfortunate placements between two major updates make it far more tedious than it should be. For players who push it through, Town Hall 13 has just become a necessary stepping stone into the endgame of Clash of Clans. In the end, I don't think Town Hall 13 will ever become majority is favored, but just a necessary stepping stones along the journey. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching.